everyone. I am so excited to be here. I have missed you so much, but I want to talk to you about what I've been doing while I was quiet over this last month. And I'm very excited about it. There's some things I don't really have words for yet, but I want you to know that I have been thinking about you the whole time. I'm so excited about what's to come. And if you live in my area, which is Topeka, Kansas, Um, I'm going to be out and about so often for people to meet me in person, to talk to me about what they need. And it just fits my personality so well. I don't know how much of this I talked about in episodes before I took a month-long break. If you get my newsletter, you already know a lot of the stuff that's going on because I still have a weekly newsletter. So FYI, if you are wanting to be on the newsletter, if you just have been listening to the podcast or watching the YouTube channel, then just email me, comment, DM me in social media and say that you would like the newsletter because you'll get weekly updates still like the podcast was. It just is a lot easier to do a newsletter than it is a podcast and a YouTube channel and all the stuff. And there's a reason why I've been taking this little break, and it was just so important for me to do. And it's going to open up so many more wonderful things and ways that I can help young people, their parents, and school counselors. And I need to hear from the people. I need to hear from the teens. I need to hear from the parents. I need to hear from the schools. And so I'm actually going out in my community and seeing people face to face and talking about these things. And so that's how I'm spending my time. And it just feeds my soul. If you remember one of the episodes, I talked about um, when I was listening to a podcast and someone asked the question, are there some people that shouldn't be entrepreneurs? And that question just really stood out to me because I had been thinking, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe this isn't what, this isn't the way my business is supposed to go. And it was because, and well, let me go back to, so this person said, every person can be an entrepreneur, but they need to do it in the way that fits their personality. So, when you look at all the entrepreneurs in the world, they're all doing it differently. And sometimes we get stuck on, and I definitely got stuck on this, that I would look at what someone was doing, someone that I admired or liked how their business looked from my viewpoint. And I would see some of the things that they were doing, and I would think, okay, well, I'm going to do that. Well, that works for that person, but because of their personality, for whatever reason. And it might not and didn't sometimes work for my personality. And I would look at it at that time like, well, I guess I just shouldn't be doing this, or I guess I don't know how to do it, or something. But I realized that my personality, I mentioned this in my newsletter. I don't know if I to said it on the podcast before, but I'm a double Leo. You can be a triple Leo, and I really wish I was a triple Leo just because it's so unique, but I'm a double Leo. And that just to me says I need to be in face to face proximity of people. I spent a lot of time last year behind this camera, and I feel like there is a need for this. And I'm not going to stop doing my podcast. It's just going to be once a month because that will give me time to run around and see all the people. And then once a month, kind of give you a recap of what's going on, but teach you something at the same time. So this this month is about just like letting you know what's going on. I'm going to do a podcast once a month. I still have my newsletter every week if you want to know, exactly what's going on during those times and have other lessons to learn during that time. Again, just let me know and I will send you my newsletter and then you can be on the list to get it every week so you know what's happening and what I'm offering and um, And I'm still kind of offering the same things. Like, I want to work with teens one to one. I want to see them on the screen. I want to see them in person. And I want to help people with anxiety and mental health. So if you want that, I'm here. Contact me. Let's talk about it. Let's, um, get started on that. I also want to help parents, and I have my parent membership. It's there for people to go in and learn all the same things that I teach young people in my one-to-one coaching and all sorts of other resources. Like I've said on here before, I'm sure everything I've ever created for any client, any podcast, any presentation, anything that I've done in the world, and I've created a product, something that you could, like a workbook or a worksheet or anything that went along with it to help teach that concept, is all in that parent membership. It's in just one place where you can go. And I think what I heard from parents at the end of the year was, I don't have time for that. I don't have time to go to meetings. I don't have time to watch a video. I don't have time um, to add this extra thing into my life. And so I'm trying to figure out what are some new and different ways that I can help parents. And I have some ideas, and I'm going to be asking you about them, because I I still want to do stuff with parents. I want to help them, but I also want to hear them and hear them say, I don't have time. And I get that. My life is different right now because I don't have kids at home and I don't have all these activities to go to. And my grandkids are young enough that they're also not in the activities, but I know that's coming and I'm going to go to all the activities. My grandkids all live within 45 minutes of me, and I'm going to everything, or at least as much as I can. But right now, I have kind of like this quiet time in my life. And so that's why I know this is the time I need to be building these things so that when my life gets busy again, I will have systems and products and things in place that are a little bit easier for me to do and go to all those activities. But I'm listening to you and I'm hearing that that isn't where you're in your life right now, where you can sit down and watch some videos about how to do something, or go to a group coaching call where somebody can talk you through these things. But I still want to help you. So I'm working on what is that going to look like? How can I take the time piece out of it, but still you get really good value for your time? Um, The kids are also busy, but I wasn't hearing that so much. I was finding time to see the teens one-on-one. My sessions are only 30 minutes, and so it's kind of easy to fit in a 30-minute slot, even if it's, at a weird time. And I'm willing to work with people on, what time that might be. And this year, I'm really going to add in schools and like being in a classroom, being doing a talk to youth, whether it's like an assembly type thing, or I've applied to some TEDx youth talks, and I don't, you never hear right away what's going to happen with that, but I'd like to, get in front of young people and talk to them about some of these things and then see them afterwards and say, what's going on? What else can I do? How can I help you? How can I help your parents? And then talking to school staff. How can I help the school staff? How can I help school counselors in particular? Because that's what I did. And I love school counseling and I love school counselors. And I want to be able to help them be the best that they can be and want to be there, and take some of the work off their plate so that they can really bond and mentor and work with kids face to face, because that was the part that I loved the most. And I think most people go into that because they want to work face to face, or at least like have time to build relationships with kids, and sometimes school tasks get in the way of that. And I actually created that same scenario with me in my own business where I get to choose whatever I do. I started making tasks and creation more important than working and seeing people face to face. So that's what this break kind of is. The break was about, I need to take time to figure this out. I need to have time to talk to real people in real time, and I am gonna do that this whole year. Um, and I wanted you to know that this is about, um, a new direction, not about, like, not wanting to do this anymore, or I just needed time to get this figured out. I knew in that task creation mode, and I do like doing those things. I love creating things. And it's safer to just be sitting in this office, creating things and feeling like I'm I am making a difference with those creations, but feeling really productive when really it wasn't very productive. And so I realized at the end of the year, as I was like reevaluating, like, what is going on? And like, why do I feel like something's off about this business? And it was because my personality and the things that I really love and the things that really light me up in the world, like people, being face to face with people, was missing. And so I started working with an embodiment coach who helps me to feel into my body. How does something feel? And even though I know this concept really, probably over the past 5 years, I've really been hearing it a lot because in the coaching world, there's a lot of that kind of stuff going on. And in the therapy world too, sometimes. And I I started, I was listening to all this stuff and I believe in all of it. I'm like, "Oh yeah, you need to feel it in your body. And yes, it needs to be you before it can, come out and be something." But somehow I didn't like take that on as something for me. I was like, "Oh yeah, that's so true." And I totally did believe it. I just wasn't doing it. So, and I maybe didn't know how to do it. And truthfully, having somebody walk you through it and take you through the process is so much more meaningful than trying to like come to that myself. How does it feel in my body? And, like kind of guessing around about it. And so I love it. And to make this, to, she's helping me to see how things feel in my body and how my personality is everything about my brand. And I knew that, but I didn't know it, or I knew it, but I wasn't practicing it. I'm not sure which way it went. I just wanted you to know that that's part of what I've been working on. I'm trying to make my business simpler in the fact that I don't have so much creation and editing because I'm a solopreneur and I'm sure I've told you this stuff before, but this whole business is me doing everything. And even though I like that, and that's a really good place to start a business, it also means that I can't do all the things that I'm seeing other people do unless I had a team. And I do want to have a team someday. And I have some, big dreams about more things that are going to happen. Right now, I need to look at what makes this business simple and yet very impactful. And so that's what I'm working on is I really want to have strong and deep impact for young people, parents, and school counselors without all of the uh, extra stuff. And if you're somebody who watches my YouTube channel, there's so much here. I have some of them are shorts. I have 300 plus videos here. Like there's a lot of stuff you can go back and look at and learn from. And if you listen to my podcast, you can go back 5 plus years and there's topics on everything. Because I started this podcast as emotional regulation in general, just like everything, mental health. And then I moved to anxiety because that seemed to be the thing that kept coming up the most with my clients. But you can find episodes on so many things. And so if you're somebody who just found me and you're like, what's the deal once a month? There's so much to go back and do and read and listen to. And so it's like you can still like supplement those weeks that I'm not doing an episode with some of the older ones or go back and re-listen. I have favorite podcasters that I get so much out of, and I go back many times and listen to an episode that really resonated with me because that's just like so like I relearn, or sometimes if it's been a couple years since you read or heard something, and then you reread it or rehear it again, you're in a different spot. You're a different person, and then you're hearing it from a different lens. And so there's just so many ways that you can go back and listen to those other episodes. And if you're a newer listener, you probably hadn't had a chance to go back and to listen to those other episodes. So now you do. What I am building is a movement. I am ready to do something really big. I have been working on this for 5 years and I'm taking all of this information, and I don't know exactly what the message of my movement is yet. I'm working on that and I'm pretty excited about it because, as a rebel at heart, as I was as a teenager, I was pretty much only a rebel as a teenager. And then I decided to conform because it was just easier and less chaotic as a conformer. But inside me is still this rebel, and I was ignoring her. And I'm not going to ignore her anymore because I feel like that's part of what makes this brand so impactful and meaningful is that teenagers are rebellious by nature. And my brand, I want it to be a little bit rebellious. I think that's what's going to call to those young people and those parents who are dealing with that rebellious part of their young person, and the school as they're dealing with that rebellious part of that young person, and helping all these people see the beauty of being young and what we can learn from young people. That's what I'm going to be spending a lot of this time doing right now, is listening to young people so that the message of my movement is for them, is exactly what they want and need. And so I need to be talking to them more about what is it exactly that you need. So if you're a teen listening to this right now, I want to hear from you. I want you to DM me, email me, text me. All that stuff is, you can find that in my, especially in the show notes of the podcast. Every way that you can contact me is there. But if you follow me on social media, you can DM me. You can put comments in the YouTube video. I mean, any way that you can let me know what it is that you need, I need to know it so that you can be part of this movement. Um, Tell me things like, what is the hardest for you right now? And what are adults misunderstanding about you and anxiety right now? And tell me what would actually help you. I want to know from you, what is it that you need? Because so many times adults think we know what you need. And we maybe, it was always my best intention to create things like this podcast and YouTube channel, and every resource I've ever created was to help you and to make you feel better and to help you see the beautiful potential that you have. But just because I thought it was the thing that you needed doesn't mean it is what you needed. And I see that in school so often. We just, as adults, decide what's going to be best for kids, but we never ask kids what is best for them. So I want to hear you. I want to see you, teens. So, and young adults, let me know, what is it that you need? What is missing? What can I do? What can my movement do to help you? And if you're a parent listening to this, tell me what you're tired of Googling at midnight. What do you constantly keep wanting the answers for and you're not finding? If you think about what is that thing you need, also tell me, how can you get it without it taking too much time? That's going to be the tricky part, but I'm willing to work on it. Like, just tell me what it is. Um, Tell me where you're stuck in trying to figure out the parenting or the teenage stuff. Um, because again, I don't want to create something that I think you need. I want you to tell me what it is. And same things, DM me, comment in the video, text me, email me, whatever feels best for you to tell me what it is that would help you as a parent that doesn't take too much time. And if you're a school counselor or an educator, as I was for 31 years, then tell me what would actually make your job easier? What is something that, where is a system failing you that could be changed? What is something that you need to know more about in order to help young people? What kind of support do you need? And again, I'm sure for you too, you don't have a lot of time. So what is something that could happen that wouldn't take too much time? Do you just need somebody to bounce ideas off of? And I love doing that. I love problem solving. That's probably one of the reasons why I wanted to be a school counselor. I like to solve problems. I like to solve problems of the kids, the school, the teachers, the parents. I did that probably every day at my job, and I miss that a little bit. I like the problem solving and the quick thinking. And so send that stuff to me. I'd love to help you try to figure it out. And if you live in the Topeka area, in any of these teens, parents, school counselors, and you want me to come to your school and figure out things with you, talk to kids, talk to parents, talk to school counselors, I want to do that. So reach out and ask me about that. And like, let's talk about a time where I can come and you can give me the topics or the ideas of things that you want me to work on or do, but let's work on it together. This next year is about us building something together. I'm going to learn from you. I'm going to take all of your information. And when I'm out and about during the month, when I'm not creating the podcast or the YouTube channel, I'm going to be just soaking in all of that information and creating something that is going to help move mental health positively forward for young people. And when mental health is in the positive light for young people, I want to help parents help that cause. I want to help school counselors help that cause. Like that, young people have always been like the main thing that I'm working towards and helping, but all of these other people have to be part of the picture too. And I want to take each of these entities that I have worked with and know very well. I want to know more, and I want to create a movement that we can all push forward. And I'm so glad you're here. And I hope that you don't leave because it's only once a month, because there's so much here that you can listen to and watch and connect with me. That's what I want, is I want to be connected to you. I want to know you, and I want to know exactly what you want. And so just let me know in any way that seems safe and helpful to you, and I will talk to you next month.